Hey guys, welcome back to Goose Adventures. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, I just want to start off by saying a huge thank you. Thank you for being here, for supporting me in the way you have. All your lovely comments and feedback, it just means the world to me. It really does. Today, I have such a fun show for you. Okay, so I'm going to be talking celebrity diets. That's right. I don't know about you, but I'm always curious about what people have said that they do to lose weight or to get in shape or to maintain a physique or whatever it is. I'm always curious about that. And I figured, well, if I'm curious about it, some of you guys might be as well. So I thought I could deep dive into that. Now, this one more than ever, it is important that you hear me when I say I am not a doctor, I am not a nurse, I am not a nutritionist, I'm not in the medical field. I always say this at the beginning of my videos. I really want you to take heed on this one because we are going to get into celeb diets, and there are some extreme ones on here. I do not give out medical advice. I would not do these if it was me. It is up to you to make decisions, but I would say consult a doctor, a nutritionist, use common sense, things like that before you take on anything like this. So this is not me recommending anything, but this is me discussing them because I am curious and I am interested. And while we will go into some extreme ones, oh my goodness gracious, I go into the Victoria's Secret one. It's wild. But in general, I do think there are things to be learned from some of these, and certain people have different nutritional needs and different medical situations. And so you have to pick and choose what's right for you and decide. I've been very vocal, and the way that I've done it is through healthy eating, exercise, and taking it very slowly. Daily choices, habits, things like that. That is what has helped me transform. And I've done video on my eating, but I'll kind of go over some of that during this because I think there are little bits and pieces from some of these that can be helpful. And again, I just don't want you to be under any assumption that these are good ideas. There are going to be some that go so extreme it crosses into what I think seems to be ED territory. We don't want to do that. Don't do that. So we're just going to talk about it. We're not going to judge each other. You decide what's right for you. Talk to your doctor before you make any kind of decision like this. I'm just going to tell you. Also, I'm going to slap a big fat allegedly on this. Sorry, I don't normally do this many disclaimers, but this one's big. I want to do allegedly on this because these are according to Google. So just because somebody follows a certain diet one week doesn't mean they always follow that diet. And people are allowed to change. They change their mind on what they like and what they don't like. So I'm just going on what Google has said or something I've read. Enough disclaimers. Let's get into that. Now, the one I really want to start with is Catherine, Princess of Wales. I am always curious about her. I think she's very lean and seems very healthy. Yes, I've read the comments. Some of you guys think she's on the thin side. I don't want to comment on that. That's between her and her doctors. But I will say she seems to usually maintain like an athletic, lean look, like beautiful. And so I'm very curious because I did read about her diet, and I read Pippa does a similar one, and I think that they're very healthy. Again, I'm not their doctor, but from what I could tell, they seem to be very healthy girls, and I'm very curious. So let's start with that one. So I've got it, and it's called, I hope I'm saying it right. Is it the Dukan Diet, Dukan? So I've got an overview of it. I'm just going to kind of explain it, and we'll try to understand it together because I am curious about this. But it says it's based on sustainable, healthy eating plan focused on fresh, natural ingredients, lean proteins. This is just straight off of Google, and plenty of fruits and vegetables. She reportedly incorporates principles from the Dukan diet, a high protein, low carb plan, especially for weight maintenance post-pregnancy or before her 2011 wedding to Prince William. Her approach avoids extreme restrictions, prioritizing balance, portion control, nutrient density to support her active lifestyle and radiant appearance. That's great. I am all for this. So I was curious about the details of it. I'll just give you an overview. Again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this. It's just according to Google, just so you know, and then we'll move on to some other kinds of diets because I know this isn't right for everybody. To me, this sounds pretty great. I think this is, a little bit more attainable than some of the ones I'm going to get into. But this one is focused on high and lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, low in dairy and carbohydrates. So with this Dukan diet, it has 4 phases. It's called attack, cruise, consolidation, and stabilization. So it emphasizes protein-rich foods, oat bran, and gradual reintroduction of carbs and fats. So the attack phase allows only lean proteins such as chicken, fish, eggs, and 1.5 tablespoons of oat bran daily, while later phases add vegetables and limited carbohydrates. Foods that you're supposed to avoid if you do this plan are there's limitations on dairy and carbohydrates for weight control and skin health. So they, and then they talk about, I knew that the royal family, in case you don't know, they avoid seafood when they're traveling because it's part of royal protocol. They're afraid of, like, being prepared elsewhere and risk of illness. Hydration. It prioritizes water to support overall health and weight management. Moderation. So it includes occasional treats like popcorn or sticky toffee pudding, ensuring a balanced lifestyle. So an example they give is like a breakfast green smoothie, an oatmeal. For lunch, they'll do like a vegetarian or a sushi dish. And then for dinner, they're talking like hearty home cooked meals such as roast chicken or a curry, something like that. So they're balancing with comfort and nutrition. They're looking at lean protein, high in antioxidants, and they're looking, especially at breakfast time, slow releasing energy and supporting gut health. So snacks on this would include like raw fruits, vegetables, goji berry. And again, this is called the Dukan diet in case you want to look into it further. I just thought that was interesting because I've always admired the Princess of Wales. I think she's gorgeous inside and out. I always wondered about her glow and how she eats to, maintain, because she is very active and prioritizes health in that way. So I was very curious about it. And then I read that Pippa, again, you never know, Pippa could have changed, but at the time when I Googled it, it said Pippa followed something similar. So very interesting. So there's that. To me, that sounds pretty darn healthy. Now let's take a look at something. Again, I'm no doctor. I'm not trying to even pretend like I am or that I'm in the nutrition field or anything like that. But this, just using my common sense, does not sound healthy. And that's one that popped up from Victoria's Secret. And I'm not trying to blast anybody. Sorry, I'm unlocking my phone, so I'm going to read it off my phone because I pulled it up. I'm not trying to blast anybody. I'm not her doctor, this girl's doctor who talks about this. I'm just somebody that thinks this sounds intense, but let's talk about it. So in case you didn't know, again, I like this girl, so I'm not trying to put her on blast. Maybe it's just something she worked out, something she needed. I don't know. It just sounds extreme to me. So Adriana Lima, in case you don't know who that is, she is a gorgeous Victoria's Secret model. Beautiful, like ethereal, otherworldly beautiful. She sparked controversy in 2011 because she revealed details of how, so if you don't know, until recently, although they just brought it back, it was a flop, but they always did the Victoria's Secret fashion shows. You can actually find them here on YouTube. For some reason, don't judge me, I love them. I've seen them all. The last one was abysmal, but I've watched a lot of the other ones. I just find them fascinating because these gorgeous women walking the runway, like all these people watching, and they're just in the best shape ever. But to me, and again, this is controversial, but I just love their bodies. And the reason I say it's controversial is because I know it's like the top 1%. Nobody can achieve that, but they're not as, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. They're not as scary skinny as some of the supermodels you see on catwalks. They tend to have a more sporty build. And I love that. I think they're just gorgeous. So if I'm dreaming up a body, I'm going to look like one of the Victoria's Secret model. That's all I'm saying. I get it. They're so slim. It's impossible. So I'm not trying to set impossible standards. I'm just telling you, if I'm dreaming rich, I'm dreaming thin, So anyway, that said, so for the runway show where they have to walk up and down this huge runway in front of a huge crowd, and every angle is seen in tiny lingerie. I was curious what they do to get in that kind of shape, how they do it. Now, and then this doesn't speak for everybody because some of them will say, "Oh, I just eat healthier." Okay. Adriana Lima got a little more real. So in 2011, she revealed how she did her pre-show diet. Here we go. So 9 days, it was more than 9 days, but for 9 days leading up to the show, she consumed only, this is all allegedly. I believe she said this in an interview, but maybe they got it wrong. I just have to say allegedly. Allegedly, she consumed 9 days of liquid only diet. So only protein shake, including powdered eggs, no solid foods, 9 days. Wow. No, now don't do this. This is not good. You don't want to do this. I'm just saying this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not recommending anybody do this. Listen, no liquids 12 hours before the show. She explained that she abstained from all liquids, including water. Don't do it. For the final 12 hours to, quote, dry out, which she claimed could result in losing up to 8 pounds of water weight. Yeah, but at what cost? Also, she talked about having an intense workout schedule. She worked out twice daily in the weeks leading up to the show, training like a professional athlete, often with boxing and high intense cardio. So, as you can imagine, these comments raise concerns due to the extreme nature of the diet, particularly promoting practices like severe calorie restriction. It can be harmful. So, again, don't do this. Just know that this is something she's talking about. I found that completely interesting. So, don't do it, but for entertainment purposes only. There you go, because I'm curious about that. Now, let's look at a different type of diet, shall we? Okay, so for the next part, I want to talk about one that's probably one of the more popular diets that came up when I was researching this, because I was curious, there's no catch-all blanket statement, but what do a lot of them do? And it's something that a lot of you guys have brought up in the comments, and that is intermittent fasting. So I'm very curious about this. Let's talk about that a little bit. Intermittent fasting, it involves alternating fasting periods, no calorie intake, with eating windows. Common methods, and there's different ways to do this, but common methods are something like a 16 versus 8. So you fast for 16 hours and then you eat within an 8-hour window. So like, let's say you went noon to 8, those are your eating hours, and then you don't eat the other times. Another option for intermittent fasting that I found a lot of people like are you eat normally for 5 days, and then for 2 days, not consecutive, they said try to restrict your calories to something like, again, I'm not recommending this. You have to decide for yourself, but they restrict calories between 500 and 600 calories on the 2 not consecutive days. So that's another way to do it. Another option that's listed is OMAD. So that stands for 1 meal a day. OMAD is how it was listed. Consume all daily calories in 1 meal and then fast for 22 hours. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds miserable to me. Some people can do that. I cannot do that. I would have a headache by like 6 hours. And then there's another option called Eat, Stop, Eat. And they talk about with that, again, at your own risk, you have to think about this, but they list 24-hour fasts once or twice a week. So Eat, Stop, Eat on that one. So the way that I don't know why I have so much trouble saying that word. The way that intermittent fasting works is fasting depletes glycogen stores, and it prompts the body to burn fat for energy. So it's called a metabolic switch when they do that. Benefits include weight loss, reduced inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity, and potential anti-aging effects, according to Google. And then they said that it's popular with celebrities because often if it suits flexibility. So if you're filming, if you're traveling, stuff like that, it requires no complex meal prep and supports weight management without banning food groups. It's also praised for boosting focus and energy. So this is where I want you to chime in the comments. Do you do this? I have a lot of people in the comments saying that they're either interested in it or that they do that. And so it's got me very curious about it. I think I kind of do it by accident because I try, if I'm hungry, I'll eat. But if I try to only eat within a certain window, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let me know if you do that or if you're interested in that. Now, some celebrities who swear by intermittent fasting, again, according to Google, Hugh Jackman, he swears by the 16 no eat, 8 hours of eating, fasting. Jennifer Aniston is another one that supposedly swears by the 16-8 rule with Sundays as a cheat day. According to Jennifer Aniston, she says she skips breakfast, eating her first meal around noon, and she noticed a big difference by doing that in her energy and health. She pairs it with workouts like yoga and boxing 5 days a week. Her diet focuses on nutrient-rich foods like salads, lean proteins, and occasional treats. So that to me sounds pretty good and pretty doable. Curious if you guys think so. Chris Hemsworth, isn't he the guy that does see Thor? I think so. So cute. I think that's Chris, right? Yeah. Oh, he's so cute. Yeah, Thor. All right. So he does the 16-8 as well. He said for the movie Limitless, he did 4-day full fast. Oh, that does not sound fun. Hemsworth used 16-8, again, 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours of eating. Intermittent fasted for Thor, and he ate between noon and 8 p.m. His trainer notes that intermittent fasting with lower calories was really effective for his weight loss. His meals include protein-rich food like vegetables, which boost energy and reduce calorie intake without feeling starved. He reports higher energy after the initial adjustment. That appeals to me. It makes me want to try it. This one, I remember hearing that he likes to do this, and I'm just such a fan of his. Terry Crews, I love him. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Terry likes yogurt. No, I really do. I think he just seems like a really nice guy. Terry swears by intermittent fasting. He only lets himself eat between 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. And at 54 years old, he maintains his big muscular physique with intermittent fasting. He says he eats protein-heavy meals like eggs, bacon, salami, protein shakes, plus healthy fats and veggies. During fasting, he uses coffee, tea, or a spoonful of coconut oil to stay satiated. I did not know that was a possibility. That sounds doable to me. I didn't know that. That's interesting. He said that he credits it with keeping him in great shape. He said around 22 years old. Oh no, I'm sorry. I misread that. He said he feels better than when he was at 22 years old. So good for him. That's amazing. All right. Jimmy Kimmel he swears by the 5 days of normal eating and then 2 days of restricted calories. He reportedly on Mondays and Thursdays only eats between 500 and 600 calories. The other 5 days he eats normally. So he lost 25 pounds in 2010 by doing this method. He said he started with protein shakes, but then he adopted this 5 normal to restricted intermittent fasting. He admits fasting days are tough, and he says it makes him pretty unpleasant, but says you get used to it. It helped him stay around 182 pounds. That's what he says. Again, there's a bunch more people listed. The other one of note, because I love her, Rosie Huntington Whiteley, I think is how you say her last name. She's this gorgeous, again, Victoria's Secret. She's married to Jason Statham. Beautiful girl. Transformers. She was on Transformers. But she swears by 8 to 10 hour eating window. She uses a flexible 8 to 10 hour eating window, starting with a matcha latte and oat milk around 8 a.m. She adjusts for social dinners, but finds intermittent fasting helps digestion and her overall health. If you told me I could look like her by doing that, I'd say, yeah, let's do that then. So that's for intermittent fasting. To me, I think that one sounds doable. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so now I want to go into another one of these extreme ones. Again, not recommending this. I'm just telling you about things I've read This one I remember. I remember it was a celeb craze for a little bit. Let me know if you ever tried it. I'm not recommending it though. Don't do it. All right, here we go. So you probably either heard it called the lemon water and cayenne pepper diet. Also, it was known as the master cleanse. Do you remember this thing? I do. They also called it the lemonade diet. So it gained fame because of celebrities like Beyonce, who reportedly used it to lose weight for Dreamgirls. Okay, again, proceed with caution. I do not recommend this. Think about it before you do it. Talk to a doctor. Here we go. It consists of a liquid only detox plan where you drink a mixture of fresh lemon juice, water, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. Sometimes you can add honey for 10 to 14 days while consuming no solid food. Goodness, a typical daily intake involves 6 to 12 glasses of the concoction with about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/10 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 10 ounces of water, which, depending on the servings, they said can total anywhere between 7 and 1,300 calories. The diet claims to flush toxins, boost metabolism, and promote rapid weight loss. Beyonce reports that she lost, allegedly, according to Google, she reports to have lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks. The cayenne pepper is said to stimulate digestion, while lemon provides vitamin C and maple syrup offers minimal energy. You're also allowed a saltwater flush, which is drinking salty water to induce going to the bathroom, and herbal teas. Oh, God, that sounds terrible. So the downside clearly listed by this is extreme and nutritionally deficit. That's exactly what I was thinking. You'd be cranky and exhausted. Lacking protein, healthy fats, and most vitamin. Side effects include fatigue, dizziness, nausea, muscle loss due to low calorie intake. Experts like those at Mayo Clinic warned that it is not a good idea. It is not, they call it unsuitable. And weight loss is mostly water and muscle, not fat. You will regain it most likely when normal eating resumes. So just beware of that. So they talk about Beyonce. They said Jared Leto reportedly used the master cleanse when he was trying to, lose weight for Requiem for a Dream. He had to play an addict in that. Demi Moore was linked to the diet and outlets like People Magazine, which noted she used it for in the early 2000s. Ashton Kutcher, they were partners at the time, so he was linked to it. Gwyneth Paltrow, it says, has not explicitly confirmed the master cleanse. She's endorsed similar detox cleanses on her Goop platform and mentioned the lemon cayenne drinks as part of her wellness regimen in interviews. I don't recommend that one either. So let me know your thoughts on all this. Those are some of the diets that I found. I will say, having lost so much and been through so much with eating and plateauing and all that, honestly, in my opinion, there's no substitution for good, healthy eating. Try to get I know it's hard. Try to get away from the processed foods. You know what works for you and your body. For me, what worked is limiting my food choices to healthy options, focusing on less processed veggies, lean protein. I stuck to mostly like broccoli and chicken, as boring as it sounds, but that's just what I did. Things like that. You have to think about what, for me, like I stuck with apples. There's different fruits. So pick your healthy foods and try to stick with healthy foods. And I think there's just nothing that's going to top that way of losing weight. To me, it's more sustainable to do it that way. Now, I understand that I did it in a way because I got comments saying that it's not sustainable. For me, it has been because I still mostly eat like that. Now, there are times, I'm laughing. There are times where I do not eat like that. What's this? That's my McDonald's cup. There are times where I just need a chicken nugget and it's fine. The difference is before I wouldn't be able to just stop. I would have to eat it a lot. I'd eat too much. I wouldn't know when I was full. It's hard to explain. I just wasn't listening to my body, my signals. Now I know better. Like I can rationalize and say, okay, I haven't had this in 2 weeks. I want it. It's fine. And it is. It's fine. I've let go of the emotions with eating. I've had to let go of all that stuff. So I had it. I enjoyed it. I'm done. I don't need it again. So it's things like that. I think having a healthier attitude helped me. Watching my relationship with food has helped me, and changing what foods I eat. So I think there's no substitution for common sense when it comes to that sort of thing. But again, talk to a doctor, talk to a nutritionist before you try to take on any eating plan, especially a severe one, because what's right for some people may not be right for you. I've heard of extreme ones like the bone broth, where I tried that for a little bit, where you're just mostly drinking bone broth. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I felt, ugh. I was like salted out and I just didn't feel very good. So, again, I would say work with a doctor, and your body, what's right for you, go with that. To me, nothing beats healthy eating most of the time and still having a treat once in a while and being fine with it, and working out. There's nothing like it. So I'm going to leave this here. And I can't wait to read your comments on this one. If you want more episodes like this, let me know. I can look into more diets. This was just I wanted to focus on things that I saw as healthy versions and then some extremes, because I'm interested in all that. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait to bring you more stuff like this. Have the best day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the thumbs up, leave me comments. Those all help my channel so much. If you don't know, my main channel is RHR Jen. That's where I cover all things royal family, and that's where all the geese stuff comes from. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I always forget to say that. Thank you for watching. Have the best day. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Goodness gracious.